Hi guys, Russ here from Wilson Land and Cattle Company. We have the wet end of a 1920s piston pump. We're getting this pump ready to put it back into service. We're going to be using it for pumping water to our livestock on our rental property or our lease property. So we're getting it ready to go back into service. But in tearing it down to rebuild the machine or the pump, we busted 3 bolts off of one of the heads. What we're going to do today is we're going to try some different methods to get these bolts out. Take a look here. They cleanly busted off. And it really, when I broke them off, I really wasn't turning on them very hard. We're going to try some different methods. We're pretty fortunate that the studs or the bolt end of the bolts are still sticking up out of the steel. We're going to go ahead and remove those bolts. Before we get started though, please subscribe, hit that notification bell for weekly videos, like, comment, share with a friend, and check out the description below for a link to our merchandise store and some great products that we use here on the farm. Okay, let's get started. Well, I wanted to show you the pump before we get started here. It's really a cool little pump. Well, I can't say it's little, it weighs about 175 pounds. So I have 2 of them. I haven't got this one here freed up yet. This here seems to be the older pump, so I just left it. We'll be getting it in operation too. The way this thing works, hopefully the light's good enough here. We have this on a pulley, we have a gear, and then it hits another gear, and then it's on a cam or a connecting rod, and it works this piston back and or this rod back and forth. They're really an efficient pump for the energy it takes to use them. This pump here should be able to pump about 10 gallons per minute up to like 150 psi, somewhere in that neighborhood. I really don't know. I don't know much about the pumps. You mount your motor here. Most generally it was an electric motor. You can put a gasoline motor, and in our case we're going to put a solar motor on it. So we got her freed up. It's running pretty good here. It's doing really a nice job. But we'll be looking for videos on that. We have to make some piston leathers for it, and that there's going to be a whole nother video. So we're going to try a couple different methods here. Number one, we're going to try and hook onto this one here that's sticking out the furthest with a pair of vice grips. We're going to grab that as close to the flange as possible. We're just going to try and tap it. I know this is tool abuse, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and that's not working. So we're going to have to resort to heat probably, most likely. I'm just going to use a regular propane torch, because that's what most shops have. A lot of shops don't have oxyacetylene to really heat things up. Now we have to be careful heating this cast iron. If we heat this up and we dump water on it, we're going to possibly crack it. And being that this piece of steel is kind of irreplaceable, you know, we can get parts, but you know, this here is something we don't want to break. Be very careful. Hey, we got a visitor, guys. This is Toby. Toby's one of our baby border collies. She's only about 6 months old. She comes in whenever I'm working in the shop and stuff, and she just says hello quite frequently. We've got another visitor here. Come on, buddy. Oh, come to say hello. Huh? You come to say hello. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. I know. You gonna let me work? You gonna let me work, huh? Okay. Go. Everybody, you know Scout. If you don't, that's my buddy Scout. He's with me. He's with me almost 24/7. Until it loosens up, I'll spray a little bit of WD-40 on it. Just kind of work it back and forth until it starts loosening up. Working it back and forth helps get that WD-40 work down in. Then you can spin it right off usually. Just like that. Dump that one out. Just be careful you don't burn yourself. Okay, now the next method . Okay, what we're gonna do is weld this on. I was hoping not to have to weld anything, but yeah, that's how it works out sometimes. Here, got a guinea in my shop. Okay, didn't work again. Well, I'll tell you what, that's being a tough bugger. Let's go ahead and try and get this one out, and we'll come back to that one. Not coming, it's wanting to twist on me, so I'm gonna go ahead and heat that with the propane torch again. Put some heat to her, see what we can do. Okay, she broke loose. Just work it back and forth nice and easy. Put a little bit of lubricant on it, try and get that to work in on it. Okay, we got her, guys, I think. Yep, we got her. Whew. I'll tell you what, that was a tough one. Hey, honey. What do you want? Okay guys, we've welded a nut on this thing 3 times now. We're gonna have to drill it out. We're not dead center on it, so we gotta be careful. We'll just drill it until we get to those threads. This is not the preferred method. I guess this here's probably the last ditch effort. Gotta be careful we don't get over into those threads. And I think we are a little bit. Okay, I think we're about as far as we want to go with it. A couple chisels here. We're going to try the chisel trick. It's collapsing on itself there a little bit, so that's a good thing. We will try this method here. I have my doubts, but we're gonna give it a go anyhow. Another tap. We're gonna run a 1/2 inch tap down in there because that's what size this is. We'll make sure it's 1/2 inch. Yep. We'll run this one down in there and call it good to go. Tell you what, this here's probably been some of the worst bolts that I've ever dealt with. And I've dealt with some dandies. There we go, we got it to grab now. Take a look at this and see here. Threads look pretty bad, or pretty decent. It could be a lot worse. As I stated before, this here's the last step, because you can really screw the threads up. Mess things up for you. And especially with a part like this, it's not like you have the option of going and ordering one or finding one anywhere. Now, I do have another pump in there, but I could take the housing off it, or the wet side off of it, but kind of like to get that pump going. Okay, she's poking through finally. Oh, there she is, guys. I'm gonna go grab a bolt, make sure we're still in good shape yet. And that's the way it usually works whenever you're trying to do a video. It doesn't work out as planned, but that's good, because it's not always rainbows and butterflies, they like to say. I was hoping to do it the other way, but show you, but this here is a learning experience too. Yeah, I think she'll tighten down on that just fine. Not strip. We got to be careful with this because remember we got over 100 psi, possibly the potential of over 100 psi on it. It's a lot of psi's. And when we put it back together, we're going to use Never Seas. You only need a drop of this stuff. You don't need a lot. I mean, that little container of Tap Magic was like 23 bucks or something. It's expensive. Okay. That's about all the further we want to go with it. I'm happy with that. It's going to work. It's going to work, so we're good. Thankfully. Okay, guys. This here is a project. It didn't go as planned as I wanted to show you, but you get the brief idea. We ended up welding onto this one, and I don't know if it was this. I guess it was this one here we took out earlier. Hooked the vice grips on it, and this one here we had to drill and tap it. So there goes. That was 3 different ways of removing rusty bolts in the true life world. A lot of the YouTube videos, they're showing you how to, they put bolts down in, it's broken off. They're not seized. They're showing you, they're showing you the easy. Anybody can screw a bolt in here, broken off bolt in here, and weld onto it and screw it back out. So, you know, this is a real life situation. That's okay, guys. That's it for today. Please subscribe, like, comment, hit that notification bell, share with a friend. Check out our merch store. I'll put a link in the description below for that. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.